This episode of Broken Bones and Bullshit is sponsored by Ozcan Rule. So Dan Ruhland, welcome on.
Benny, thanks for having me.
Yeah. You're an actual wanker. Instant regret of inviting you on. So we'll just wrap it up here. That was quick. See you next time.
See you later, Millsy.
So how did the whole rodeo career start for yourself?
I sort of grew up, like, my old man rode bulls, Rick Ruhland, and then Pop, he rode bulls and barebacks and broncs and everything, so sort of born into it. But, yeah, I think it sort of started, I think I got on my first potty calf at a rodeo when I was like 8 or so. But we had, like, a little bottle red calf at home that you could only just walk out. But, yeah, started getting on it when I was, like, real young. I'm not even sure how old I was, but, yeah, got on it a few times and that, and then progressed on from there to getting on at rodeos and that.
And how, so you're old enough to walk and then you're getting on that?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, yeah, probably couldn't even walk that great.
So you're second generation cowboy or third?
Second.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or third off Pop side?
Third off Pop side.
Yeah.
Second off Dad's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And how long did your dad rodeo for, Rick?
I think he started. I think he started when he was like getting on steers. He got on a few steers and that, and then he didn't start real young, but he more so got on steers and then straight into open bulls and that. But yeah, he definitely rode good too.
Yeah. And he was still getting on bulls when you were alive, or?
Yeah, I didn't see him get on many, like at rodeos. I was only a baby, like I don't remember it. But he come back and got on a few. He got on in the over 40s and that. And I remember seeing him. We had an old bull at home at Red Mick or something it was called. Oh, and Bud, Bud.
Yeah,
that Jack's got now. He got on it down at Murphy's there one day and spurred the hair off it. I was like, it annoyed me. It just hasn't been on the ball that long and it just gets on it and smashes it.
The era that he was rodeoing would have had to been one of the toughest in Australia.
Yeah, definitely.
Like Troy Dunn, Jack Woodall.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah. They
all the good buggers were rodeoing at the same time.
Back when the chutes were made of made of steel.
Back when they bucked.
Yeah. I think we definitely got. I think these days there's definitely better bulls, but yeah, they were definitely a lot tougher back then. That's for sure.
And we're a lot more spoiled nowadays.
Yeah.
There's getting the right bulls underneath you definitely happens more than they just had to be tough, rotten cowboys to actually get to the level they all got to.
Yeah. I think the mini bulls and that they've got these days, I think that's the best thing ever for the kids. Like
that, what is it, hard solo?
Hard solo? Oh, that little mini bull? It bucks, yeah.
What do they reckon? It was 24 each side.
Yeah. What have you, hammer cock? As a 12-year-old kid or something.
Yeah, I wouldn't get on it.
No,
I'm scared.
It's funny, you see all them bullfighters and that at the PBRs. They step around all them rank bulls and then they get mauled by one of them mini bulls or something.
Well, that Josh O'Reilly, the bullfighter from down south, he fights all our shows.
Yeah.
Like, fights all Gary's big savages, never been hurt. Steers or broke his leg like 3 times.
Yeah. They're dangerous.
I think because, like, you just... Because you're a steer, you're not worried.
Yeah.
So then you get complacent, then you put yourself in a bind.
Yeah.
And there's still a big animal.
Oh, yeah.
Like, even them steers are 300 kilos. It's a lot more than a 60-kilo bullfighter.
Yeah, that's for sure.
So they end up getting wedged and looking like a goose.
Yeah. Yeah.
So what was the first bit of success you had with your bull riding or steer riding?
Oh, getting on potties. I think I won my potty riding title.
Yeah.
Run a wild side series that the Halls used to run back in the day, and then won an NRA title, and then juvenile bull riding title, which they used to have an under 16s junior bull riding title. But I've been on like Kerry Hall that used to contract back in the day. He they were all bang tangs and stuff like that. And I remember getting on one bull in the under 16 junior bull ride, and I think 3 weeks later it was at the Toowoomba PBR. Like, they weren't a walk in the park.
Yeah.
They still bark.
So it retired a few of your competitors.
Yeah. Definitely. Yeah, I think in our era there was like me, Zane Hall, Clay Hall, Lane Mellors, and a few others, but they're the only ones that ever come through. Like there's a lot of other fellas that sort of
never lasted.
They weaned out pretty quick.
Well, in that crew of yours, it's now all some of the top guys in Australia.
Yeah, definitely. Like Lane, I think Lane's been over and won a rookie title in Canada.
Canada won the Australian rookie title.
Yeah,
and then Clay won the PBR rookie title last year?
No, Zane.
Zane
won the title last year, and then Clay's been riding unreal too.
Yeah,
he's been riding real good, but it's good to see. That's for sure.
And that was the main sort of guys you grew up with as juniors?
Yeah, in my age group, I grew up with I'd always travel with a lot of older fellas as well, like all the like Sam O'Connor and Matty Finks and all them boys. Like I travelled around with them a lot, but in my age group, them boys definitely.
And because the Ruhland Ranch was used as a fair bit of a bunkhouse for a lot of cowboys coming through. Did that help your bull riding? You felt like them older guys coming and staying?
Yeah, definitely. They taught me a hell of a lot.
Yeah,
but I think having the internationals come over here and stay, that was definitely it was pretty cool. Like having Rubens Barbosa help you on a practice bull at home was pretty cool. Or Bucky on the drum or all them boys. That was pretty cool.
You won't find a nicer person than Rubens.
Nah, he's a good, he's a good bugger.
Yeah, I travelled with him a bit when I was in the States, and just when you're getting on bulls, the way they think and their mindset, like they just want you to do so well. Like you feel like you owe it to them, even if it's not for yourself. 100%. Like they just believe in you that much that
it makes you believe in yourself. Oh, shit, I must be good.
If he's talking me up. So, how old were you when you got on your first open bull?
I think I was either I held back a little bit. I was like 16 or 17, I think. But I think like after the first open bull I got on, I was getting on junior, novice, and open like every single weekend. And like some shows you'd go to, they're over 2 heads, so that's 6 bulls you're getting on. So I think 16 or 17, I think I got on my first. I was getting on open bulls a lot younger at home, but at like rodeos, I think my first bull was 16 or 17.
Yeah.
Bull,
And who was your biggest influence? Would it been your father?
Definitely Dad, I reckon. Yeah, Dad helped me a lot. But other than Dad, the internationals and stuff, and all the boys.
Like Sam and all them that are staying.
Sam definitely, like Sam's buddy, especially even after his accident. Like he's just so positive and like, sharp in the mind and that. But all them internationals definitely helped me a lot. Yeah, and I like looking back now, I don't think I took it. Like I took a little bit as granted too. But but I wish you could just go back and
you can't put an old head on young shoulders.
That's it. Yeah,
there's situations where you're like, oh, you could have probably got more out of it, but you're just too young.
Too young and dumb.
But that's why you just tell the younger fellas not to do what you did.
Yeah.
And so your dad got you started. Yeah. And then the internationals sort of took over from there.
Yeah, Dad's always helped me out, but like not as much as I wish sometimes. So you ask him like, oh, what did I do wrong there? Oh, I just bugged off it. But then other times he'll definitely help you out. But the internationals, just because there's so many different techniques and stuff, like you just learning a little bit of different stuff from different people is good. And
sometimes I feel like your father can tell you one thing, and then someone else can tell you the exact same thing, but it
you
makes
hear-
more sense.
Yeah, yeah. Like,
Because you take people that are close to you for granted with,
yeah,
he's not as good, or what? Not even if it's
Yeah.
like that, but it's
yeah, you have people
sinks in better.
tell you the exact same thing like 6 times, but someone tells you it just a little bit different. You're like, oh, that makes sense. It's the exact same thing, but it just seems to sink through a little bit different.
What's probably the best piece of advice you got off one of them internationals, or even just getting ready or getting on? Or
I reckon it's just like just believing in yourself. Just backing yourself. When you put your hand on that bull rope, who gives a fuck? Just shut your hand and make a bull rod. Yeah, I reckon.
Yeah.
But other than that, I'd say like shoot procedure.
Yeah.
Even though the Brazilians aren't real good at that. But yeah, shoot procedure definitely.
They're too good at it. That's why it takes an hour.
Yeah. They know it too well. But yeah, I reckon, definitely shoot procedure and work. Like when the internationals come over, I just sort of started riding in a Brazilian rope and like where to set your rope.
Yeah, set it properly.
Yeah, setting it properly and stuff like that helped a lot too.
And yeah, them ropes, unless someone shows you, you'd never figure out how to set it properly.
Nah. And I rode for a long time setting it in the middle because I didn't like setting it down the side. But now I've sort of like, I was setting it down the side and it actually, I don't know whether it's your riding style changing or whatever, but yeah, it does work better setting them down a little bit further.
And is that probably the biggest thing for your mindset is just sort of staying positive?
Staying positive, definitely, and just try not to beat yourself up. Like I was, every time I was backing off a bull there for a long time, I'd just be so dirty on myself.
Yeah.
And you carry, like, you're not so, like, you're not being negative, but you're getting on your next bull and you're just trying way too hard.
Yeah.
And you're clamping down and you're not moving. And you're never going to out-muscle them. Like,
yeah.
You clamp down and they just, So if you're just positive but, like, loose and get on them, just kick out and go at them, it just seems to, everything works better.
It's a wild sport where you make it the hardest sport in the world.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
you try too hard.
Yeah.
That's not good enough. You don't try enough. That's not good enough. It's a very humbling sport, that's for sure.
Yeah, as soon as you think you got it figured out and then something will go wrong and then it seems to snowball and then your mind wants to take it the opposite way, like negative. Unless you're conscious of grabbing it and flipping it, it will just take you into the worst spot you can be.
Yeah, that was the thing I was doing there. Like I try and, even if I buck off a bull, I'll go, right, what did I do right? Like straight away, what did I do right? And you take 2 positives and then you go, right, what could I work on?
Yeah.
What's a negative? Like 2 positives, 1 negative, and then you work on whatever. And you know what it's like. You can be riding the shit out of a bull and you just stub your toe. Like it's, you might just not jam your foot down, that bucks you off. Like it's not an easy sport.
No, it's amazing how hard it is. Like, because when people like just watch it, like, oh, you just get and hold on, and it seems that simple, and it probably is that simple, but it's as soon as you get into it, like the better you get, it seems to get harder for a while.
Yeah.
Because as soon as you start riding good and then you start getting in front of yourself and then you actually start going backwards again.
Yeah.
Where like if you kept just not thinking about it, kept just getting on and doing it.
I think it's the thinking about doing it.
Yeah.
If you just keep it simple and you just, ride like how you've been taught. Like go back to your basics, keep it simple. You probably ride nearly everything, but you get stuck in your own head sort of thing.
I think the biggest thing is like it's not like any other sport because in football you can drop 2 marks and still get best on ground.
Yeah.
With our sport, if you make one simple mistake, the whole thing's over.
You're done,
like, your whole night, you're like, and then I think the travelling and everything adds onto it too. because you've drove 12 hours to a bull ride.
Yeah,
and
you
then
buggered.
you go 7 seconds, you make one silly mistake,
Yeah.
and then it's all over.
And then sometimes you'll be that angry and heated about it, and you carry that on to your next one.
Yeah.
And then you got that in the back of your head, and then you try and deal with that. You're putting pressure on yourself,
Yeah.
which is stupid. Like, you should just kick around and, like, at the end of the day, it's the funnest sport in the world.
Yeah.
Like, you're having fun no matter what.
Yeah, it's I think we definitely make it harder than it needs to be.
Yeah.
But it's hard not to, because everyone that's doing it at a high level wants it so bad.
Yeah.
And you never get there unless you do have that.
Yeah.
But then you need to control it in the same sort of sentence.
Yeah, that's for sure.
So how long, from potties to now, how long you been riding? Any animals?
What I got on potties when I was 8, and I'm 22 now. How many years is that? I'm not real good at math.
A few.
We
We better get a calculator. We'll get back to it.
But yeah, I think calves and that, like, now that they've got them mini bulls and that, I reckon that will help the young fellas out a lot. Like, calves and that were good, but they just half of them just ran down the pen and jumped and kicked and whatever. But they're mini bulls now, they buck.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
they buck, but they're on that smaller scale, so it doesn't like it's
not going to really hurt
it's
them.
not going to hurt a kid, but they buck like a bull, so they're getting the mechanics of bull riding down young. Sort of thing. You're getting on steers and calves that'll bellow and bloody kick you in the ankles all the way down the pen, and then all you got to do is stay in the middle of them. But now you've actually got to ride them.
Yeah.
Like, they're mini bulls. You got to ride them properly.
Last night at the show, like, they're mini bulls out a couple and around.
Cranking them.
And like, you can see the talent that's up
some
here.
Young kids have been riding good.
Yeah. And they're doing everything right. So it's so great that, like, at 10 or 11, they're learning all their mechanics on something that's not really strong. Yeah. It's not going to really hurt them.
Yeah.
And then step them into big bulls.
Yeah.
So then, like, it's not going from something that's just going to crow hop down the pen to something that's going to be there in the gate.
And they be at the PBR the next week. But it's good that they've got them stepping stones now. There's just not like you're getting on a calf that's running and then you're getting on a bull that's kicking over its head and turning back.
Yeah.
But I reckon that's good to see.
And so since you're 8 till now, like, have you had a lot of injuries over your career?
I've had a lot of, not compared to you. I've had.
We're not having a dick measurement contest. 'Cause we all know who's got the
title. I've had injuries, but like just niggling stuff. Like, nothing terrible. Like, I've had lots of broken bones and stuff like that. But I think it's the ligaments and the muscles and stuff like that. The stuff that takes so long to heal, they're the bad ones. And the head knocks. The head knocks really do steady you up. Yeah,
that's what I've been noticing since, like, I've been doing these podcasts. All the big injuries doesn't seem to worry no one, but people are getting concerned about the concussions and head knocks because they start adding up. Like, when you're getting like 15, 20 concussions.
Well, I think it's just different in every other sport. Like boxing and that, you're getting hit by another fella that's like, you're getting hit hard and you're getting knocked out. But when you get pulled down by a bull, like you're getting hit in the head by a sledgehammer, pretty much. Like, you're getting smoked. When you get a bad wreck, like, it can't be real good for you. It definitely steadies you up.
That's what I was watching one of the world finals, and they were talking about the knockouts. Like, it's the best injury you can have at a finals. Yeah, they're like, not long term, but like, because the next day you can still get back on. Yeah, and then like, and it won't throw you off because you don't remember none of it. But long term, it's probably not.
Water off the duck's back. Yeah, it's probably not real good for you long term. But you look at all them footy players and that with that CTE and whatnot.
Yeah.
What's my head going to look like?
Well, thank God no bull riders haven't gone and shot everyone up. Like, do you know that footballer? they did the Netflix doco on him.
No.
Yeah, he had the
CTE.
CTE thing, and
Oh,
he
the
ended
old
up like
skits.
going crazy and just shooting people and.
Yeah, right.
Mm.
Yeah, well.
Lucky
maybe
no
we're
bull
not that bad.
Yeah, we're doing
it
alright.
Yeah.
I honestly think with the football that if they took the helmets away, they would probably get less concussions.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because like you have to, if you got a helmet on, it's less like with the bulls. If you need to man up a little bit, you take the helmet off because you have more self awareness. You know that you can't just flop down and they'll pull you down.
Well, yeah, I reckon, like, I went from riding in a helmet to riding in a hat, and I reckon I definitely got knocked out way more with a helmet on.
Yeah.
Just that little bit of weight on your head and stuff, like, and I don't know, you're just not so worried about getting smacked in the head. Not that it bothers you when you got a hat on, but you'll push out over one and you keeping your chin out.
Yeah,
of the way
if
of
he's
them
trying
bats.
to pull you down, you're
like,
going to try a lot harder.
Yeah, definitely. Especially if you're going on the well or something, you're going to get out of the well. You don't want to cop a horn in the face. Like, you try a lot harder to not get smacked in the head, I suppose. But as well as that little bit of weight on your head, like, you watch a lot of people land on their back and they get that whiplash. If you got a hat on, never knocks them out. But if you got a helmet on, like, nearly every time knocks them out.
Well, I still ride in a helmet, but I went back to just the hockey helmets.
Yeah.
Because I had a 100X and
Too heavy.
it was too heavy.
Yeah.
I'd never been knocked out so much in my life.
Yeah.
Because I would just land on my back and the weight of that would throw my head into the ground and just
sleep.
Yeah. Good night.
Night already. Yeah.
We'll have a little breather and then we'll get back in it.
Right. Sounds good.
Ozcan Rural, providing Southwest Victoria with everything related custom sheep and cattle yards. Get in touch with the fellas via email ozcanrural@gmail.com. That's AUS, can like the one you drink, rural@gmail.com. Building fences straighter than your local politician. Welcome back, Dan.
Hey.
So what's something you wish you knew before you started rodeo?
I reckon just not beating yourself up so much. Like, I found a few times, like, throughout my career, just you get on bulls and they buck you off and you just get real filthy on yourself and it doesn't help. Like, you need to sort of just, like I was saying before, like, take 2 positives, 1 negative out of it and then just push it to the side. Otherwise, it doesn't help you. I don't know. Like, beating yourself up, you sort of drag it onto the next one and I found myself, like, getting on my next bulls, just trying so hard and you're clamping down and like I was saying, you can't out-muscle them or anything. Like, you got to be loose and you got to be moving, sort of thing.
And I had Gloomy on only a few weeks ago and he's so positive. And that's how he keeps it, and he rode at the highest level for 20 years. So there's something in that to stay positive and always, like, if you love it, then that's the main thing. And as long as you focus on that, then, like, and the best thing about, like, bull riding for me was when COVID hit. I was still getting on bulls 2 times a week just because I enjoyed it. There was no chance of rodeos opening up, especially in Victoria. Like, we were fully shut down. So, like, it's not like you're getting ready for a rodeo because there was no rodeos coming. Everything was cancelled. I did it because I enjoyed it. And then I started riding the best I ever did it.
Just no pressure on your shoulders.
No pressure because I was getting on bulls because I enjoy riding bulls. And I like the feeling, like everything about it. So as long as you can, like, focus back on that, then you can stay positive because it's like, well, I'm going to do this anyway. I do it because I like it.
You're not doing it for the money. There's no. You're not doing it. Like, that was the same with us. Like, when we were in COVID, like, we just have practice days on every day, and just kicked out, and you're doing, like, the rankest bull rides you've ever done, and you're like, what have I changed? But it's just, I think it's just that
all the
on your
pressure, yeah.
back. Yeah, no pressure on your back. You're just having fun and nothing mattered. Like it didn't. Yeah, you weren't beating yourself up if you bucked off one. You're just getting on another one. Like,
Yeah.
it didn't matter.
And I think that's I don't know if you're the same, but you see them fellas that we look up like goal setting and all that, and that never worked for me because that just put pressure on me.
Yeah,
Like, because wanted to do finals, wanted to do this, and then it just made every rodeo like harder.
It made it a job more than
Yeah.
I think it's good definitely to have goals, but it's just like, this is my goal for this year and this is what I've got to do, but we'll just have fun while we're doing it. Like, we're not gonna bloody, you have to ride this bull, you have to do this, like you have to do all this, but just go and have fun. Because at the end of the day, it's all that matters. It's you're having fun riding bulls.
Because when I was speaking of Will Watson, that was on the podcast too. Excuse me. He said like he would get on bulls in the practice pen, and then draw the same bull at a rodeo and fall off it.
Yeah.
Because you get to the rodeo and you're putting that added pressure on yourself, like, oh, it's for money, and it's all bullshit.
Yeah.
Like. We do it because we enjoy it.
Yeah.
Like whether the rodeo's got $20 up or 20 grand.
Yeah.
People are gonna rock up because it's just what we do.
Yeah.
If there's nothing else on, then we ride bulls, so we're gonna go there anyway.
Yeah.
So like that added pressure is only in your mind, not in everything else.
I try not to read into it like too much.
Yeah.
So, like even if you've got a bull drawn, it's maybe a bit out of line or whatever. But half the time, like, I've been on bulls and I'll draw it the next weekend and I'll be getting on it and go, geez, this looks familiar. Like, I might have been on it last weekend. I just didn't even know. Like, I just try and, like, just cut that out of my head.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, like, you could get on a bull that's out and around the right every single time, something like that.
Well, like last night for me.
Yeah, for you, exactly. It's always out and around the right. And it was out 2 and around the left.
Yeah,
like,
exactly how I wanted it too.
yeah.
I was like, nah, he's always there. I was like, I want him just out 2 and around on the left. I like him in my hand.
Yeah.
And then he did exactly what I wanted him to, and I cooked it.
Yeah. It's a very humbling sport.
Yeah, even if you imagine it into reality, you still can fuck it up.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what it is. But, yeah, it's a fun sport, that's for sure.
And so mindset would probably be the thing that you work on the most more than bulls, or do you think that getting on bulls helps the mindset?
Getting on bulls definitely helps your mindset. Getting on as many as you can, but like when you have them niggling injuries and stuff, you can't always get on bulls. Like every day of the week sort of thing. But I read a book. Oh, I've started reading a book. I don't read real good. But I've started reading this book. It's called Sports Mindset. So it talks about how you have your subconscious and your conscience or whatever. And you know how like you'll be getting on a bull and you'll go, like you'll be like, oh right, I've done this and that right, and then your subconscious will be like, well, you done this wrong. Yeah. And like it sort of gives the other one a like you dickhead, you bucked off it sort of thing. Like if you get a positive relationship between both them, you do better. Like it just seems to work better. Like if you go, right, I done this wrong, but this is what I can do to fix it. Instead of going, you dickhead, like you should have turned your toes out more and use your feet more. If you just go, right, like you done this right, but you should do this better. I find that has helped me a lot. Yeah. Instead of just being hard on yourself all the time.
Have you ever read that Psycho-Cybernetics?
No.
Like, so Gary LaFew goes on about it all the time.
Yeah.
And it just changed his career completely.
Because Gary done a lot of meditation and stuff like that. Yeah.
So there's like, this is just for anyone listening to it, like Psycho-Cybernetics, the book, and there's also an audio book, and House of Doors. Yeah. So that was a meditation I did when I was with Gary. So it's crazy. It sort of apparently any sort of doubt or anything that you have stored in yourself, if you can relive it, then you'll let it go.
Yeah.
And that house of doors is something that will take you down, and then once you do it, you have to actually relive it. So the first time I did it, I was sort of at the start. It was all like waves crashing, and it was really confusing, like what was going on. And
It's like you're meditating.
yeah,
Yeah, right.
so but meditating's like going to the gym.
Yeah.
It's a muscle. So like the first time you do it, you're no
Won't do
good at
much.
it.
You
Like
gotta keep
all
working.
your outside thoughts keep coming in.
Yeah.
You keep doing it, you get better at it, same as the gym.
Yeah.
And then once I did that, then I could see all these waves crashing, and it sort of really confusing. And then it looked like there was like a horse like jumping on someone.
Yeah.
And then it got clearer, and it was me getting jumped on in Europe when it cut me femoral artery.
Oh yeah. It's
And
something
then-
you hadn't dealt with. Sort
Yeah,
of.
so I watched that, and I didn't think it
It had bothered
affected me
you,
at
but
all.
you just stored it.
But then I like relived it, and then once I come out of that, like I just had so much more confidence in it,
Yeah.
and never realised that was something stored.
Back in your head.
Yeah.
Yeah. You still in the back of your mind, sort of thing.
And I think that's what makes this sport so hard, is because it is so brutal on you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like you can be the top of the world, and then your whole career, sometimes career is done,
Yeah.
and just one bull ride.
Yeah. Well, that's sort of like what I tried doing, like mentally wise. It was like just be tough, just be
Yeah.
the toughest you can be, and that's it. And like you'd find yourself getting hurt, and you'd be like, there's nothing wrong with me. You'd go on to your next, like I broke my jaw, and like 8 weeks later I found out it was broken. Same as my ankle, I broke it, and like 6 weeks later I found out it was broken, and then it's just like I was trying to make that, like it worked, but it wasn't good for your body at the same time. It was like, but then now I'm sort of, I was like, you got to try and look after your body, and then like you sort of, it's got to be a give and take a little bit. Like you can't be just trying to mungle everything out, because you just break yourself down. Like you do still have to look after yourself. But
So is that something you probably learn if you ever had a kid, how to guide him?
yeah, don't be stupid.
Yeah,
yeah.
Because there is a fine line between being extremely tough and
Yeah.
extremely dumb.
Yeah, yeah,
Like,
yeah.
and I toe that line constantly.
Yeah, got both them too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No one's figured out which one it is.
yeah. Probably a little bit of both.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's definitely something like I reckon it'd be like, look out, like, and growing up, like you'd hurt yourself, and someone would be like, make sure that heals, like, look after yourself, mate. Like all the older people would be like, make sure that you got a bit of an ego, you think, oh, fucking, I'm tougher than you. And then I'm not even old, but I feel fucking old. Like you get older, and you're like, oh, you do actually, like, it is an extreme sport. Like, it's hard on your body. Like, you do have to look after your body if you want to be in it for a long time, sort of thing. So there's being tough, but there's also being sensible.
Yeah.
Like,
And I think it is hard to know the difference.
yeah.
Like, because there's times where, like, even, like, I have a big wreck and then they cut me in the ambulance. I'm like, a part of me wants something to be wrong, because otherwise I'll be that embarrassed that I've just wasted an ambulance to go all the way.
And it's hard. Like, it's weird. Like, when you get in that mind state where you're like, all you gotta do is be tough, and then you get hurt, you think there's nothing wrong with me, but then sometimes there's something really wrong with you. Like, you actually you don't know how to judge your own body, sort of thing. Yeah.
And it's a weird sort of feeling where you're like,
Am I being a bitch? Or
am I being thing? But it's like, well, I've broken me back.
Yeah.
I cut me artery, all that stuff.
You've had a few.
But then I've been in the hospital and nothing, and I've been that embarrassed
Yeah.
that I'm like,
I'm not doing this again.
yeah.
Yeah.
There's like, you're not getting me to a hospital anytime soon.
yeah, 100%.
Unless me feet are facing the back.
Yeah.
So, do you like growing up with your dad being so successful? Like, do you remember any of the big moments of his career, or you would have been?
I was a little bit. I mean, I've seen a lot of videos and stuff like, but I don't really remember when he was riding bulls, like when he was in his prime. But he, I know he was definitely a rank cowboy, and
Yeah.
he's very humble.
Mm.
My dad, like you don't get much out of him, but yeah, he definitely has done a lot.
Yeah.
But more than that, like my mum has helped me a hell of a lot. Like especially being younger, like traveling around, even like me, Clay, Zane, Lane Mellors, like she'd load us all up in the car and drive us all around the countryside, just doing potty rides, like and that didn't just help out me, like that helped them out as well. Like yeah, she's definitely had a big, and even now, like I was saying, like when you get that stupid tough, like you're like, hey, there's nothing wrong with me. Like you hurt yourself, and mum will be like, no, like she probably knows me better than I do. Like she'll be like, no, there's something wrong with you. You need to go get that looked at, sort of thing. Like stuff like that. That she's definitely.
And a lot of the times they can pick it when it happens too.
Yeah,
like the way your body is, like your mannerisms and that. They're like, no, there's actually something wrong.
Yeah.
And then we get behind the shoots, we're like, no, we're good. Like
yeah.
And they're like, no.
You're not.
You're not.
Half times you weren't good when you rocked up there.
But definitely the mums are the unsung heroes of rodeo cowboys.
Yeah, they can put a finger on things you can't. Like, yeah.
And just, I think they don't get the shout out they probably deserve. Every cowboy I've had on has had like a mum carting them down the road that helped them out.
Yeah, definitely. And not only just me, like all my traveling buddies, and even like now that she's working with the PBR and that, like everyone with the PBR like looks after all of them, and they all definitely appreciate it too.
So there's a story was it Magawi?
Mulgowie? Oh, which Mundabra?
Mundabra.
Oh yeah, that was I think that was me and Morgan Zwanenberg. As when Lane was living at Mundabra, and Lane's like he's like, oh, you've got to come and do this show, and I know it was shit. Like it's just dust and there's no crowd. It's it sucks. And he's like, yeah, you got to come and do it, because he was living there at the time. I was like, yeah, right, we'll come and do it. So we loaded up the pig dogs and went down there for the weekend and done a bit of pigging and whatnot the night before. And I don't think we went to bed till like 4 o'clock that night. Went to the bull ride, and I was getting on junior, novice, and open at the time, and they didn't get enough entries, so it was over 2 head, and all King's bulls, like they were pretty savage and pretty bucky, yeah. And I think I rode one bull out of them all. Like I got wedged. Like I got beaten up all night. And one bull wedged me on the bloody chutes and kicked me in the back of the head, and then he knocked me out. And we've gone back to the pub after the bull ride, and they're having a few beers and whatnot. Lane's lost all of his money on the pokies and that. And these fellas were picking on him and whatnot. And he's like, oh, Dan, these fellas were picking on me or whatever. And we've gone in the toilet. I've gone in the toilet. Old mate's tried to push me in the piss trough. I said to Lane was there. I was like, don't let these bastards out. So I've tried to fight them. And they didn't want a bar of it. I was like, oh, righto, all good. Walked out, went to go back to the toilet, and this big Tongan fella, like he was big, and I'm only like 16. I was shitting myself. This big Tongan fella just come up to me. He's like, heard you were picking on me mates. I've looked up at him. Like, oh, fuck. Then he's like, yeah, them ones are there. He's like, I was like, oh no, it's all good. Like, we sorted it out. He's like, oh, well, you're going to have to fight me. I was like, oh, no. So I just went back and punched him as hard as I could and dropped him. I was like, yes.
Got a luck out of him.
Yeah, got a bit of luck out of him. I was like, yeah. And then they've called the cops and everything. Old mate fell over and smashed a glass, cut his wrist. Like, it was bad. Like, it got pretty bad. And they've dragged me out the back. and I've ended up back at someone's house. I was pretty blind by then. And, Morgan come and pick me up from this house. And he's like, "Oh, we're going to this house party." I was like, "Yeah, right." Rocked up this house party and walking in there, and I look up, and here's this big Tongan fella sitting on the chair there. And I was like, "Oh well, here we go again. Here's round 2." And walked up, and he's jumped up, and I was like, "Oh shit." And he's just giving me the biggest bear hug. He's like, "Man, I'm so sorry. Like, I didn't realise them fellas was picking on you, mate, and all this stuff." I was like, what?
Tables a turn.
Turns out he was the nicest bloke ever. We sat there all night drinking beers together. Yeah, it was funny.
Fighting Tongan fellas in the toilets.
yeah. I think Lane started that one. He's got a bit of a mouth on him.
Lucky he's quieting down nowadays.
yeah. I wouldn't say so. No.
No, the one I was trying to find is it Kyogle?
Kyogle. Yeah.
That was the story I wanted.
yeah. Nah,
got another one out of you anyway, but
yeah. I think we went to Pittsworth the night before Kyogle, and we've all got on the piss again. And I think I was like second in the junior bull ride or whatever, and we've rocked up to Kyogle. Oh, I haven't been to bed. Well, I was with Kyle Hamilton and Chris O'Mara. We're travelling in this little pedo van. Like, it was bad. Rocked up there sleeping on a goon bag, and I've got out, and Clay and Ty Thompson and Zane all there. And they're like, can't wait to watch you roll off tonight, because I wasn't in a good way. Anyway, I've got on my bull and kicked out, won the bloody bull ride. Got a mauling, but got out of it, won it. And I was like, yeah, well, they all fell off. So, yeah, I don't know.
It worked out pretty good.
Worked out pretty good for me. I doesn't always work.
Yeah, probably not advice you give for a young fella,
No,
but
definitely not. But it worked out that night.
What is a piece of advice you'd give for a young fella that wants to make a living off riding bulls?
Probably like in your younger days, take it serious. Like definitely take it serious, and do your work and everything. But when you get into that bigger level and that, like, just don't put so much pressure on yourself. Just like, don't beat yourself up. Like I was saying, like take a positive out of everything, and just don't be so hard on yourself. If you, I don't know, people are different too, but let your work do the talking sort of thing. Like just keep riding bulls, and
yeah. And I think, like we were speaking about before, like at the end of the day, if you love it, you're gonna do it anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
So just remember that, like, you're doing something that you enjoy doing.
Yeah.
So why ruin it?
Yeah.
By like putting all this pressure and all that, like.
And you like, I always find like you put that pressure on yourself, and then you get on your bull, and you look back and you're like, oh geez, like even if you do a rank bull, you're like, that was easy. Like it wasn't that hard.
Yeah.
Like you build yourself up before you get on. Like
yeah.
Like it's
whenever that works, it's the easiest bull ride you ever make.
Yeah.
But it's adding that pressure it's only doing you harm. It's not doing you any good.
No, it's not helping you. That's for sure. Yeah, and I find like, but like if you're training like bull riding and that, I always think like I always try and put myself in the mindset of, like, you're at the world finals, like you're about to get on your last bull, and like you've just got to go hard. Sort of like, that's what I put myself in, that sort of mindset. So you work hard, but then when you get to the bull ride, there's no pressure. Like you've done your work, you trust in your work that you've done through the week or whatever, and just I think definitely training hard throughout the week doesn't put as much pressure.
I've never heard someone put it that way, but it makes sense to me when you said it. Like, sort of put the pressure on your mindset in a practice where it doesn't mean nothing.
Yeah.
So then when you do get to them high pressure situations,
There's no
just
pressure.
forget about everything
Yeah, yeah,
and just let it happen.
yeah.
Yeah,
But you got to be able to trust in the work that you've
Yeah.
done. Like, you got to work hard.
Yeah,
And
you
then-
can't
and then-
you can't just not get on or slide off everything
Yeah.
and expect something's going to change.
No, exactly.
Do
yeah.
the work and be in shape and
Yeah,
do all the right things, but then come Saturday, let it hang.
yeah. Literally,
Like,
yeah.
mm.
Yeah, you've done the work. There's no pressure. Sort of thing. Like, yeah, kick out and do whatever you want to do. Yeah.
So with the young fellas, like, you like the way the sport's going at the moment?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, yeah. I think the little stepping stones and that they've got for the young fellas these days, and there's a lot of talent getting around now. Like,
And how good with the PBR doing the mini bull section? Like, that's
yeah,
put them on
unreal.
the big stage as kids. So then once they get there as
Yeah.
adults, it's no big deal. They've been doing it since they were kids.
Yeah, yeah, and that's another thing that like you don't even like you probably wouldn't think for some people, but for me, like you're there and there's cameras in your face everywhere and stuff like it just gets a little bit overwhelming sometimes. Like not so much anymore, but like when you were a young fella coming straight from doing a little shitty NRA, like out in the sticks where there's like probably 10 people in the crowd, and you go to a PBR and
where
there's just-
everyone's watching
yeah.
it on live stream.
Yeah, thousands of people, and there's cameras in your face everywhere, and like learning how to talk in front of a camera and stuff like that gets hard too.
Yeah. And you wouldn't think it would change, but like the fact of like when I started doing PBRs, people messaging me that weren't even there because they're just watching it online.
Yeah, yeah,
Like that added pressure you put on yourself because you know everyone's watching.
yeah. There's thousands of people riding on you to ride this bull, like, but you can't think like that at the same time.
And like I think a lot of people get confused with like either a bull rider being frustrated or whatever. It's not at the bull, it's always just at ourselves.
Yeah,
Because like we've either added too much pressure or just done something silly that
Yeah.
we know we're better than, and it's just like, why? Like
Yeah.
it's just so silly, like that we did that, and that's the frustration. It's never at like you got bucked off. It's because you made a mistake. Or,
yeah, yeah.
or
And
whatever.
it can be the simplest little mistake. Like it doesn't take much to buck off these bulls. These
Nah.
days. Like you got to be pretty sharp to be riding them.
And it's a credit to the contractors that we have in Australia. Like
Yeah,
there's
definitely.
some good bucking bulls kicking around, and not just from one place.
No,
Like
that-
everywhere.
Yeah, yeah, and it is good to see, like especially this year, like the amount that the sport has grown has been unreal. Like, and
Yeah,
the money in it, like there's starting to get like some good money in the
Like
events.
when the PBR Australia put up like the amount they're giving out this year, phenomenal. Man.
yeah, it's
and
just
with like free entry fees, and
yeah,
it's we're going in the right way.
yeah.
But
It's so
as
good
long
to see.
as we don't get spoiled,
yeah,
because as soon as like you're getting free entry fees with awesome money, like
people expect it.
yeah. And as long as we don't do that, I think we're going in the right way.
yeah.
Mm.
And I think that'll be like our era won't have a problem with that, but
Yeah,
it'll be the next era that'll be like
we'll have to put them back
expecting
to like
more,
$1,000.
Yeah. Yeah, but it is funny, like the money wise, it didn't shift for a long time. Like it was pretty shit for a while. Like that, you'd get the odd good one here and there, but it is good to see that everyone, like in our eras, that they only ride bulls because they fucking love it. Like
Yeah.
they don't do it for any other reason. Yeah,
Well, if you ride bulls in Australia, like they're lifting the money now, but it's because you love it. You can't live off it. Like
Yeah.
everyone that rodeos has a job.
yeah.
Like because there's not enough money in it not to.
No, that's it.
But
Unless you don't
like-
fall off a bull, but that's
yeah,
pretty bloody hard.
yeah. Well, we're inquire, but that's about it.
Yeah.
So who are your biggest idols when you're rodeoing? Obviously your father, and
yeah. And I'd say people that I can relate. Like it's hard. Like I've got a lot of idols. Like different people with like the way that they ride bulls, like their mindset, but then the way they actually ride bulls, like that I can relate to. Probably Ruben's Rubens was pretty
Yeah, Ruben's
good
well,
idol.
so
Yeah.
yeah.
And then Chase Outlaw as well, definitely. Other than that, yeah, like Dad. I've had a lot of people influence me through
Yeah.
life. Like whether it like you can just take little bits from everyone. I
Mm.
reckon. Like I don't have really one big idol that I want to be like him sort of thing. But
Yeah.
there's so many people throughout, and I've just been so lucky to have all them people like growing up with all them sort of people
Yeah.
like Sam O'Connor, definitely his mental side of things.
Mm. Yeah, you won't find a more positive fella.
No, and like the stuff that he's been through, like it'd crumble most people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And still loves bull riding.
Loves it. Yeah.
Loves everyone. Like it's
Yeah,
a credit to him, and
you won't see him without a smile on his face.
Nah.
It's good to see.
Well, it's been an absolute pleasure having you on, Dan.
You
and
too, Benny.
No worries, Daniel. Cheers, Buster, and I'll see you next time.
Well,
Hopefully not.